Закони фізичного дистанцювання, на жаль, обмежують різні соціальні обряди, і серед них релігійні похоронні прощання з нашими найдорожчими. Серед тих, які мають найбільше досвіду і не одну українську родину підтримали в цей глибокий час смутку, є родина похоронного заведення Кардинала. Сьогодні зрозуміємо, які тепер обмеження, але теж побачимо, як дійсно можна в ці дні гідно попрощатися з нашими найдорожчими.
Дорогі глядачі, вітаємо вас на українській телемережі «Контакт». Сьогодні продовжуємо нашу розмову і переглядання, в який спосіб впливає на нас коронавірус. І тепер маємо нагоду поговорити з паном Jimmy Cardinal з похоронного заведення Кардинала, який довший час допомагає українським родинам в цей дуже важливий момент переходу і похоронних ритуалів. І в який спосіб сьогодні можна провести це все, беручи під увагу громадське дистанціонування, яке тут дуже потрібне. Welcome, Jimmy Cardinal, to our show. And a very part of our community rituals is the parting and moving on that your family has helped extensively over generations with our community here in Canada. And Jimmy, could you tell us what are the current guidelines as to conducting funerals today, and what is allowed and what isn't allowed, so that we may all know, what the current conditions really are?
Sure. So, it is different from province to province. And so with us being here in Ontario, I can speak about what we know here. But thankfully, compared to some other countries like Italy or some of the other places where the coronavirus has hit harder, we can have people attend funerals here in Toronto and in Ontario. So unfortunately, we can't do everything that we would have done in the past, but the government has allowed funerals to have up to 10 people at a service. So that's probably the biggest difference that we've been experiencing since the outbreak has happened now, a couple of months ago.
Now, Jimmy, to what extent is there a difference with the way a funeral must be conducted if the deceased is in one way had the coronavirus or did not have the corona? Is there a different procedure, or is there in terms of the public?
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, I think that's pretty common. A lot of people have been asking us that recently, especially those that have passed away from COVID-19. There's the family sometimes worried, can they be in the same room? Is there a risk to the pallbearers who are going to have to carry the casket? And thankfully, the risk is very, very low. We have been hearing in some of the studies that are coming out that there is a possibility that the coronavirus can transmit from a deceased person to living. But here for us, we're much more concerned with those that are coming to the funeral. So those that are still living, the family members of the person that's passed away. When we go to school to become funeral directors, we're trained to treat every person as if they could potentially be infectious, because we never know. It's not always obvious that the person who passed away from something that was infectious, and they may not have known themselves. So we're trained to use full universal precautions, wearing protective equipment. And so when we're embalming someone or handling the body, we take those precautions. But for the actual funeral itself, there really isn't a difference between whether someone has passed away from COVID-19 or whether they haven't. The family can still attend. They can still have up to 10 people. A priest can still attend. So it's more just we need to be careful with the physical distancing of those that are coming to the funeral, so that if someone has the COVID virus, or if they're not infectious, but if they're infectious but not symptomatic, then we're taking those precautions, the not shaking hands, wearing masks, wearing gloves, those kind of things.
And Mr. Cardinal, how I know our community is used to be before 2 panachedas, now it's 1, and then the church service, the liturgy, and then going to the cemetery. And as you mentioned, there's limitations to all of this. And how valid is the process? Is the grieving process and the parting process still being in some way saved in this situation? And how are you helping to make that transition from sort of, let's say, a more expanded version of our ritual to a more condensed one?
Yeah, so thankfully, as I mentioned earlier, we can still have priests attend so that the religious aspects of the service can still happen. And that's obviously very important to many people in the Ukrainian community and many people across Canada. Um, the real limitations come when it's the number of people that can attend, obviously, with only having 10 at any one time. The gatherings that may have happened, all the friends and family, maybe not attending anymore. Um, the one thing that we've been able to do, though, that can help with that is that we've been actually streaming services. So it's not something that we actually were doing very often before the pandemic. Most of the time, people were able to come to the funeral or at least come to the paniquera the night before. And it wasn't very popular to have something streamed across the country, across the world. But obviously now with the current restrictions, we've seen a big increase in the number of families that have been using our Zoom service so that they can watch from the comfort of their home. And that's especially beneficial for those that are older. Thankfully, most of the families that we serve, the person who has passed away was not young. And so when they're a bit older, all their friends are usually older as well. And right now, most people don't want to go outside if they're over a certain age, and rightly so. And when you're nervous going to the grocery store, you're also going to be nervous coming to the funeral home. And so now they can, from the comfort of their own home, they can watch on a laptop, on an iPad, on a phone even, and they can know that they can still participate and be present, at least remotely, but they're not putting themselves at risk to come to the funeral.
Well, Mr. Cardinal, thank you very much for helping us out with this information. We'd like to, in parting, thank you very much, and your father and your grandfather for being a very important part of the community. We know very strongly that you're very helpful with the Ukrainian Canadian Care Center. Many years, multiple year sponsor of the Ukrainian Festival on Bloor Street, and also of our TV show. So we would like to thank you for your efforts, but not just in the support of our community, but the day-to-day work that you do in comforting our families, individuals, and that you have this innovative way of continuing to help with these new times today. So thank you very much.
It's my pleasure, Jurij. Thanks for having me.